the children's librarian at the Sterling Public Library. Today I want to share a few new picture books that we have from the stacks at the Sterling Public Library. The first book I have to share is Osnat and Her Dove, The True Story of the World's First Female Rabbi by Sigal Samuel and Bali Mitzi. So this book starts off learning about how Osnat really wants to learn and go to school, but traditionally boys do that while girls stay home and take care of the house. Because Osnat doesn't have any brothers, she was able to convince her father to teach her, and eventually Osnat grows up to be a great community member and religious leader for the people in her community. So here's one page from this book, and this is Osnat talking about how beautiful she finds the Hebrew language to be and all the different shapes that are in this alphabet. So this is one great nonfiction picture book that we have in the new section at the library. Another one that we have that I wanted to share is called Love in the Library, and this was written by Maggie Tokuda-Hall and illustrated by Yaz Emamora. And this book is about Japanese internment camps during World War II and how the author's grandparents met in one of these Japanese internment camps. And even though this was a really terrible and heartbreaking moment in the history of the United States, this is one of the stories that came out of that. And here's one spread of the author's grandmother, because she worked in a library when she was living in one of the internment camps. And you can see there's a watchtower up here where they kept people inside. This would be a really great book to start these kinds of conversations about these sad moments in our history. And if you have any older kids, there's another great book about this called They Called Us Enemy by George Takei, and that's in the young adult nonfiction section. The next book I want to share is totally on a different page. It's really fun. It's a story about, it's called Ramos, Let's Go Eat by Raúl the Third, and it's about our main character wanting to find some lunch for the luchadores before they have the big match of the day. And so they have to run around to a bunch of different food trucks and find the perfect meal for them to fuel them during their fight. And this book has a lot of Spanish and English words throughout it, and so there's that learning opportunity. And it also, a lot of it is so detailed, it feels like a look and find book. You can see this is a good example of how it looks like a look and find book. And one thing to keep in mind when you're reading these kinds of books is you can ask a lot of questions. So I know a lot of kids love look and find books, and sometimes it feels like they might not be real books, but there's so many opportunities to ask questions about numbers and colors and ideas, and you can be really creative with how many ideas and questions you can ask children from books like these and look and find books. So this is Vamos, Let's Go Eat. The next book I have is called Time for Bed, Old House, and this is a sweet new bedtime story picture book that we have by Janet Costa Bates, and it was illustrated by A.G. Ford. This book is about a grandson that is visiting his grandfather, and his grandfather lives in a kind of creaky old house that makes a lot of noises when they're trying to go to bed at night. And so the grandfather's idea is to put the house to bed before they go to bed. And it's just a really sweet bedtime story. I love how the grandfather speaks to the grandson with kindness and respect, and he's really supportive. He talks to the grandson in a really great way. And here's one spread at the beginning. You can just see how great of a time they're having together. So this might be a fun book to read if you have any grandchildren or really little children that are visiting you at home and staying the night, or kids that are having trouble going to bed on their own. So that was Time for Bed, Old House. And then this last book that I want to share is called Your Mama, and it was written by NoNieqa Ramos and illustrated by Jacqueline Alcantara. And this book is basically just going on and on about how wonderful this main character's mom is. And the lines in this book are so rhythmic and really fun to read aloud that I hope you'll keep it in mind once we get closer to Mother's Day. Here's one example. It says, Your Mama a Brainiac. And they talk about how smart she is, and there they are walking into the library on the red carpet like they're rock stars. And it talks about how funny she is and how beautiful she is. And so, like I said, I hope you'll keep this book in mind once we get closer to Mother's Day. If none of those books sounded good, I hope that you will stop by the library and ask for help. We love giving recommendations and helping you find exactly what you're looking for. My name is Abbigail, and I hope to see you next time.